Things don't just happen to you. Everything happens for a reason. Everything absolutely happens for a reason. And the body's like, hey, there's a problem. Hey, there's a problem. And if we go to a doctor to try and fix it, a doctor can only give you a pill. You know, he says, oh, it looks like you have this. And he can just give you a pill, but it's not resolving the issue. And we have a saying, if you don't listen to the whispers, you're going to have to hear the shouts. Like, I suffered with irritable bowel syndrome as a child. It appeared when I was 8, and the doctors will tell you there is no cure for IBS. There's no cure, just like we can give you some muscle relaxers, I don't know, eat some fiber, you know, there's nothing they can do for it. I resolved my IBS in one hypnosis session, and we went back to a traumatic event that happened when I was 8. I remember it very clearly, but I had no idea it was responsible for the IBS. So I was like, wow. And then the information came out, because when we do a regression, we're going back in time to the original event that caused the problem. Now, you and I, we could never sit here and work out where your digestive tract problems come from. We'd never find it, because the subconscious has the memories, beliefs, and the emotions. So it's buried in the subconscious mind. With our ego in waking state, we don't have access to that part of the mind. So we'll never find out what the root cause of the problem is. That's why you need to do regressions. And people say, I don't want to go back there, it was too painful. Like, and why do you people keep going back? I'm like, it's where the shit is, I'm sorry. It's where the problem lies. Pre-birth to 7, that chunk of life is where we get messed up the most, because we're wide open to programming during that phase of our life. We don't know the difference between good and bad yet. So what happens in this phase of life is you accept everything that happens to you as normal without question, because you don't know any better yet. And this is where the damage comes in. Then between 7 and like 15, this phase of life, you're still open to programming, but when you get to kind of like 10, 11, you're beginning to get a sense at that point of what's right and wrong. So think about it, the world gradually gets bigger as we get older, which is why a move for a child is traumatic, because they don't have a concept that, what do you mean we could move here and live somewhere else? They don't know that's even a thing yet. And that's why that's why I say, have you moved? Did your family move house? Oh yes. The worst thing is someone that's come from Puerto Rico and moved here when they were 7, they don't even speak English. I mean, like, you know, there are going to be some horrendous problems. So this is how the programming gets in there and how it works. So we've got to go back and find out exactly what caused the problem. So I do a map of emotions and beliefs, and then I ask the subconscious to show us the first time that the client felt unworthy, and it will literally just bring the memory up like this. And when it brings us the memory, we're not re-experiencing it, which is what people worry about. I don't want to go back there. I'm like, we're looking at the event, so you're disassociated. So there's an awareness that they're here in my office, in my chair, I'm taking care of them. We're just looking, like looking out the window. Oh, I remember this. So they've already survived the event because they're here. So it's the inner child that doesn't want to revisit, because when we grow up and damage occurs, a part of us gets stuck at that age. So we grow up, but there's an aspect which still needs healing. And you notice it in other people. You'll be like, you're acting like a 10-year-old. You can see it all the time in other people. And that's why, because a 10-year-old is screaming for help. So that's why regressions are absolutely necessary to resolve problems at root cause.